What's good? What's good? What's good? It's your guy Travelmatic, and we are back with another live stream. This is episode 2 of Review and React, and glad that you are back kicking it with us, checking us out on a Thursday. I have my wonderful co-host here, Sports and Heels, with us in the back with some caption and stuff, which I was telling her. Like,
you always mess with me. Yeah, it's track season. This is what this is
her
pertaining.
track stuff, all her track
and field.
in the
Track
back.
and field Olympics have started today, so I thought I'd represent. I gotta represent all the time.
Oh yes. You know this is the only time people pay attention to track. So
it's the only time you people pay attention to track. I pay attention to it all year round. So don't get it twisted.
This is good. This is good.
It's a global sport.
This is the only time, man.
Don't be watching tone in your delivery. Don't be disrespectful. The best sport in the world.
We want to watch Sha'Carri win that.
It's Sha'Carri.
Oh,
Not
Sha'Carri.
Sha'Carri.
We want to see Sha'Carri to win that 100. So and Noah, what's his name? Noah
Lyles.
Yeah, Noah get the 100 and 200. And then we done with track and field.
No, we're not. We're never done. It's never done. It's all year long.
You don't watch that stuff, man. But yes, we are here with Review and React, and we had this guest on. I think we just said 2022. She's one of our first guests. Just enjoyed her so much. I've been running her down for a minute, trying to catch up with her, but she's been busy. She's been doing some phenomenal things in the Black travel space. Let's just say travel space. People put Black stuff on it.
Yeah.
But we here, you know what I'm saying? But she is, multitask. She works. She's doing the tour guides. But you would never think that she's working because she's always gone somewhere. And so I said, man, I got to get her on because she went to my favorite place, Cuba, recently. She's going on another excursion end of this year that she will tell you about. So with no further introduction, I would like to bring back from Tour Amor, Miss Sandra Yvonne. What's good? What's good?
Hi. Thank you for having me.
Oh, yeah. We appreciate you. The fans, they appreciate you too. Yes, they've been waiting on you, So we're glad to have you back. And yes, tell the people about you and what you have for us today.
Well, I am Sandra Yvonne. You can find me on Instagram at I am Sandra Yvonne. And I like to say that I'm an entrepreneur. I do have a full-time career in the medical field, but outside of that, I've been a travel host. I curate group travel with my company, Tour Amor Travel. And I started Tour Amor Travel because I wanted to connect and reconnect Afro, descendants. The diaspora is vast. Being Black is not monolithic. And I think it's important that we tell our own stories, from the lens of our own people versus, us traveling someplace else and having, an Anglo-Saxon individual tell our stories. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but we need to make sure that our stories are told, appropriately and according to, historical facts. I myself, I'm Black Puerto Rican. My dad was a woke Puerto Rican brother. Adrian, my dad was as dark as you, honey. Okay.
I saw your daddy.
Yeah, you've seen the pictures.
Mm-hmm.
But he always told me, you're Black. You're Black. Don't forget, you might be light skinned, but you're Black. And in my ignorance as a kid, I used to fight him, and I'm like, I'm not Black, I'm beige, And he's like, no, you're Black. But as I got older, I understood what he was trying to teach me. He's like, we may have Puerto Rican heritage. My mom's Mexican, so I have like the Mexican, Black Sarican thing going on. But it was through my dad, because these things were not taught to me in school. The transatlantic slave trade was not taught to me in school. where enslavement originated. None of that was taught to me in Puerto Rico. In Puerto Rico, you're being taught that Christopher Columbus discovered the Americas. That's
Yeah.
what I learned. And then when I moved over here to the States at the age of 10, the same thing. Nobody ever taught me that. But my father always made sure that we knew the historical facts, of where we come from. And fast forward, here I am an adult traveling to different places, and I'm dumbfounded that African Americans, here in North America and even in other places, they have no idea that you could be Black and Hispanic, you
Hmm.
French, and still be Black, right? So that's the reason why I started Tour Amor. Again, the whole goal is to connect and reconnect, African descendants all throughout the Americas and globally. And of course, not all of our trips, have that end game, but best believe that that's what I'm looking for.
So I want to say the official you guys officially, or it's well known that you guys are Boricuas. Is that what the term is?
Boricua, yeah, yeah,
Yes. So,
yeah,
well,
Boricua.
I love the fact that the name of your company brings in the love factor, but really the connecting with diaspora. And as Adrian mentioned in the opening, you recently did a trip to Cuba.
Yes.
Which was actually my first solo international trip was to Cuba,
Yay.
mainly because of the Afro-Cuban experience. I'm sorry, influence on music
Hmm.
um, and culture that I was exposed to young, listening to artists like Josephine Baker and Cab Calloway, who often traveled to Cuba to perform. So give us a little bit of information about, how you are able to can make those connections in places like Cuba to kind of make that connection for us Americans who may not be familiar with the Afro whatever country that you're going to.
Sure. So for me personally, the way I started doing these group trips is just I went there just like you by myself. I went out there and I started connecting. I Googled, I searched Instagram, I connected with individuals that look like us, right? And that can direct me, different, go here, go here, go there. I also dated someone that, initially he was not doing group trips, but now he is, and we're still the best of friends. And, he's also introduced me to some people. So we exchange, suppliers and whatnot. But every time, that I put together a group trip, whether it's Cuba, whether it's Colombia, wherever, Puerto Rico, I am looking for suppliers, that look like us. I am looking for individuals that not only can share our story, right, but that can benefit, from our dollars. Because when you think about it, in the tourism industry right now, our people, we're traveling all over the place, but who is on the other side of the fence? Who's the supplier? 9 times out of 10, they don't look like us, right? But yet they're telling our stories. And not, again, once again, not that there's anything wrong with that, but you can't tell me how I feel about my story unless you look like me, unless, we look like each other, because there's that brotherhood, there's that sisterhood, there's that connection that
Mm.
connects us. The music connects us, the food connects us, the religion, connects us, the languages connect us. And I think that it's important that, for me personally, when I'm putting out these group trips, that obviously there's going to be an element of adventure, there's going to be a historical element, there's going to be, different parts, but the historical aspect, I wanted to be told by people like us.
I love that.
Nice, nice. I get a lot of I steal a lot of my ideas from her with, um, where is it?
You do. I'm gonna start charging you.
Yes,
Exactly.
yes. I'm gonna go ahead because you put me on to Beyond Roots. I'm gonna give you that one.
Yeah.
With Allison and I forgot her name. Yeah, I saw that. I said, "Oh, let me see. Let me dig down that." And I found them through you, so I do give you credit for that one. What's the benefits of these group travel, like for yourself? Well, like, because I myself think about it sometimes. A lot of people ask me, like, man, you need to do some group trips, man. But sometimes I'd be like, man, I can't. I'm a solo traveler, man. To have that responsibility on my back is a lot. So, I mean, maybe if you convince me or you can give me ideas of what makes you enjoy them. I know you like giving people the experience, but what is it about group travel trips that you like about curating them?
I mean, first and foremost, you got to be a people person, right? If you don't like to be bothered with the ups and downs, there's always going to be one or two in the group, but you have to be a people person to begin with. And for me, I get joy from seeing the faces of people, enjoying themselves. I get joy. It's like, to me, I feel no different than when it's Christmas and my kids are opening up their gifts and they're like, oh my God, this is so amazing. I get joy from that. And I think
Mm-hmm.
in everything that we do in life, you have to find value. There's
Mm-hmm.
value in what I do. Even in my, day-to-day job, there's value. So if you feel valuable in doing that, which I do, then I'm going to continue doing it. The money, it comes. And I will tell you, the first few years I was making no money. I didn't start making money until recently, and I only do about 3 or 4 trips a year. And when I say making money, it's not like I can leave my part-time job either. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not at that level, like other people, right? And
Right.
um, would I love to be at that level? Perhaps, but I also enjoy, my career. I enjoy you know, the benefits of being in corporate America too. So that's really my thing. I love to see our people have a great time. I love to see, our people experience new things. I just love that.
Okay. I mean, I can see that now, and I think I see why I have a hard time with it
Picture.
because
Look at that photo shoot that we did in Havana. I mean, those are my babies. Like, that's how much I love these people. You fall in love with each person. That's just how I am. You've seen my personal page. I'm a deep person. I don't when I meet someone, I want to know anything and everything I can about you. That's just who I am. And
yes.
And,
connecting.
and from a traveler perspective, I've been a solo traveler now for 5 or 6 years now. But actually, last year, 2023, took my first curated group trip,
Okay.
where I was not the curator, but I knew the curator and took a group trip. And very similar, mostly all women, from all different parts of the world, mostly Brazil. And hardly anybody spoke English. Just a few of them spoke English. Um, but it was definitely an experience I'll never forget.
Hmm.
Something about a curated group trip, you really do have to have the right mix of people, because other people are going to impact your trip. But when you have someone like yourself who has passionate about the why you're doing it, the connections, the experiences, that portrays in how you actually enjoy the trip. You're coordinating and curating experiences that are going to not only educate you but also, um, be completely different than anything you might have experienced before. And there is a camaraderie that you develop over time with the people that you're traveling with, because you're sharing on this, these really great, loving, knowledgeable, people, right? Because usually that you're curated by people who look like us, so they're passionate about their subject matter. I mean, you're there because you're passionate about wanting to learn, and so there's this bond that you all develop once you're there, over the course of the trip. So I really, really, before I was skeptical about group trips, but I'm like falling in love with them at least, once every 2 years or once a year, doing another curated trip, because it is stress free for those who don't like to plan trips. Who I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. I don't.
Just show up, worry free.
You're literally just showing up, and someone plans your entire itinerary. You get the itinerary in advance, so you have an idea of what you're going to be doing, but you don't really know until you get on site, like actually what you're doing.
Hmm.
You get an opportunity. Usually, there's like a meet and greet dinner. and you get an opportunity to meet the other travelers, and you really just get to share. It's a different way of networking and sharing who you are, what brought you there, and then you share as you're going along with the experiences.
You hit it right on the right. You hit the nail right on the head. And one thing too about my trips is it's not just about travel. When we're back at our you know at our accommodations, there's always a space where we get to share. And again, because I'm a deep person, I ask questions. And the next thing you know, I'm praying over somebody, someone's boohoo crying because they've been divorced, they were going through something. This was, their time. Like there's always that connection. And I love that.
Yeah.
I
You
love
be
that.
praying over them too. You been laying hands on them.
Right, I sure did. I sure did.
Put that oil on their
You know,
Go ahead, girl.
we are three-dimensional beings. Even though we're here, we're spirit, mind, and body. This person has been going through the ringer, and they're like, you know what, my sister talked me into doing this, or this person booked this for me, or I made every sacrifice that I could. I appreciate that you chose me. There's people that have that got their first passport stamp with Tour Amor. Do you know how
Nice.
that's like, wow, to me? I don't take that lightly.
Yeah.
Lightly.
And traveling itself, especially international, has a way of growing you as an individual, right?
Mhm.
So when you're taking these group trips, even if you take it with a friend, or you're taking it solo, where you're joining the group, if you're taking it, you're in a relationship, and you guys decide to take a group trip together like this, it really does impact you from a growth standpoint. You're going to learn so much about yourself. You're going to learn so much about the other person if you're traveling with someone else. You again, there's a connection that happens when you're experiencing something that happens during travel together. There's just going to be something. It opens you up. It frees you from the daily stresses and allows your mind, to kind of explore all these other feelings, all these other experiences, how it's impacting you. So really, it really is a mind, body, and soul, growth that kind of happens when you travel. Period. So when you add these additional elements of passion, and things that exploration and excitement, when you add all of those things together, I mean, it's guaranteed, especially if you have the right person that's curating, and which, anybody who says they're doing it with love and passion, is going to be the right person for you. That's why it's important that you are very selective about who you take these curated trips from, because that's going to impact whether or not you do it ever in the future. Trust me.
Right. No, I'm with you there. I'm with you right there. I
Well,
enjoy
good.
it a lot.
So you went to Havana. Now you have Cali here from the list here. Are
Yeah,
you going to?
out. I have a group that's going to Cali, Colombia for Petronio Alvarez Festival. Petronio Alvarez Festival is the largest Black festival in South America outside of Carnival in Brazil. I mean,
Okay.
if you have you been, Adrian?
I have.
I
Oh,
haven't.
you've been.
The
Yeah,
trip
we did a whole show about it.
the
Yeah,
trip that she was just talking about was Cali.
You know what I'm talking about. To
I
see
do.
a sea of melanated people. You may not understand what they're saying, but you feel it because
Yeah.
you think you're in Africa. You would think that you're in Nigeria and Ghana or whatnot, but you're in Colombia. But they look like you, and when you think about it, the drums, the music, we're all connected to the motherland. So I love Petronio Alvarez Festival. Unfortunately, I cannot attend myself, but someone's going to be curating, hosting the group on my behalf too. But that's a trip that, like, if this is what I tell people, if you can't afford the time and the dime to get to Africa, you need to go to Petronio Alvarez, because you will understand, the love and the pride that comes with being Black. I mean, you get that obviously from Essence Festival. You get all that, but
Yeah, but I tell, having been there last year, I tell people Petronio is Essence Festival times 100. There's
Exactly.
really not a way you can, if you've never been to Essence Festival, you don't know what that means. But
Right.
any music festival in your local area, if you've ever been to Made in America, you've
Exactly.
ever been to what's the one out there in the desert, Coachella, you've ever been to any of those, none of those compare to Petronio. It is humongous. And I want to say the biggest surprise to me was not the music. The biggest
Mhm.
surprise to me was the vendors.
Mhm.
Y'all, I promise you, the best shopping you will ever do is at vendors. These
And the
local,
food.
these
Let's talk
things.
about the
That's what I
food.
mean. The vendors have food. They have jewelry. I bought so much jewelry. I bought clothes. I bought food.
Yes.
I actually wore a piece that I got this past weekend. We had a festival here in Cincinnati. I wore a piece, and everybody like, "Where'd you get that from?" In Colombia, in Cali, Colombia, at Petronia. So it's a really it's a really different kind of a trip, but you've never seen anything like it when it comes to a music festival, like how
Yeah.
they do it in South America. It's just a whole nother level.
I'm glad you had an opportunity to experience that. When you think about it, you said that it's imagine a sea of people, over 300,000 people, elbow to elbow in this stadium, and you're sweating like a runaway slave, but you're having such a grand old time that you're gonna do it. It's normally 5 nights. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday are lit, especially Saturday. You're
And
exhausted.
Sunday
Yeah,
depends on who's playing. Because last year,
yeah,
Grupo Nietzsche was the
yes.
closing act,
I always
and
tell.
there were a half a million people
Yes,
in this area to see Grupo Nietzsche. I mean, the
it's
entire
free.
families.
It's free too. It's free.
Yeah, it's all free. Yeah,
Exactly. It's all free. You just
Oh
pay for
wow.
the vendors,
yeah,
but
you just
it's
pay
just
for
a
vendors.
dope experience.
You just pay for the what?
You pay for whatever vendors, whatever shopping
Okay.
you do, but it's a free concert.
And you can literally drink all night for free if you take
What's the little rum? I've been trying to find the name of the little rum. That
Beaching.
Vice. If you're taking shots of Vice, and everybody's giving you a shot of Vice because they want you to buy their bottle of Vice.
Hmm.
So you're sampling Vice for hours.
Yeah,
It's a great time. It's a great time. It's a
I
great
love
time.
it.
yeah, I have to make it to this festival. I was hoping I could make it this year, but not this year because they have the Afro. They have the Negro Fest in
Yeah, but Negative Fest is you got maybe 2,000-3,000 people in comparison to 500,000 people.
Yeah,
okay.
I could not believe my eyes. I mean, I've been to a lot of music festivals. A lot of people who know me personally. I go to a lot of music festivals over the last 20 years of my life. I've never seen anything like Petroleum. First of all, they do music festivals correctly with how they do the changing of acts.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first time I've ever seen a stage that rotates.
Mm-hmm.
So while somebody's on stage performing, the other band is on the other side setting up. So when they're done performing, they just rotate the stage. The other side exits, the new one comes on, and the other one's already on and ready to go. There's not a bunch of lag time in between performances. So that's how they're able to get 30, 40 acts all day long, all weekend long in the Petronio because they are able to do these quick changes in between.
And I think it's important to know too, some people don't realize that, of course, you have, the renowned groups like Nietzsche, and things like that. But I would say 80% to 90% of the acts, these are amateur people. And the reason why they're doing Petronio is because they're competing.
Yes. It's a
They're
competition.
It's a
yeah,
competition.
it's a
Yes.
competition, but they're all amazing. You have judges at the end that judge them and whatnot. They receive funding, obviously to continue, their work. But it's a competition in itself, but it's a lit competition. All right, talking about this. There's no comparison, to America's Got Talent. This is a real deal.
Yeah, and last year they had Afro-Colombian band play with the first time they've ever had a U.S. band from New Orleans come and play. and then they invited a band from Africa to play, from the continent of Africa. I can't remember what country it was, but it was the continent of Africa. And they all played separately, right? And then they invited them on stage to play a couple of pieces all together. And they called it the World Band or something like that. And that was the first time connecting the three continents, basically connecting the diaspora who were lost over the three continents. So Africa, South America, and North America, which I thought, I recorded that because I thought that was a really cool, significant moment to have these bands from different tribes, basically, of the diaspora come together on stage at this Afro-Colombian music festival. That was a really cool moment.
Yeah.
Mm. And so I just said
It's
no.
named after I'm an Alvarez too. So even that, I'm not Colombian, but we got the same last name. We got the same colonizer last name. But you know what I mean.
Your last name is Alvarez?
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay.
That's last year. That has to be.
Look, that's people, Adrian.
Yeah,
That's people.
I posted on my Instagram aerial shots from when I was there.
That's
And I put the arrow like I was right here. The first night, you see where the stage is? Friday night, I was up by the stage because we got there early.
Oh, I think I see you up there.
Sunday night, when the last Sunday night, when Grupo Nietzsche was performing, I was off in the yellow part. That's because we couldn't even get nowhere near the stage.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see you with on the side.
Did you know that Cali, Colombia, has the largest Black population in all of Colombia?
Yes.
Yes.
Everybody thinks that it's Cartagena. No,
I told her that years ago. Because the Instagram, even somebody just said to me today, actually a girl from Brazil, Joyce was talking to me, Tiffany.
Okay.
She said, why is all the Black Americans in Colombia? I was like, because of Instagram and social media. Like once one Black person see another Black person doing something, we very sheepish. So that's why all the Black people from America are in Colombia, like they saw somebody on Instagram. It's a lot of Colombia press on Instagram. So, but nobody really has a lot of content on Cali. The only thing they know is Medellin, Cartagena, and I'm like, if you really want to see Black people, you don't go to Cartagena.
You gotta go to Cali.
You go to Cali. You actually go to Bonaventura. Actually,
right.
You go to Choco also. The thing is that what Black Colombians come from a region called El Choco. It's in the Pacific coast. But the thing is that, Choco has not been fully developed. You have Quito, which is the capital, which is, a fully developed state. But the rest of Choco isn't. You have people that still live in
homeless outhouses.
Yeah, basically.
No running water.
They've migrated into Cali, Colombia to make a better living for themselves. And the reason why you have so many people in Cali, of African descent.
Well, and also I want to be clear. Another reason why people are flocking to Medellin and Cartagena is because when you say where to go I'm going to Colombia, where should I go? The first response is Medellin or Cartagena. When I mentioned I was going to Cali, the first thing people said, "Oh, Cali, be careful." Because globally, whenever there is an area where there's going to be a larger Black population, you're always told to be careful. Just like when you come into the States, be careful going to, Watts. Be careful going to Compton. Be careful going to this side of Atlanta. Be careful going to this part of Houston. It's a global thing that it's, when they discourage you from going to areas where there's going to be a primarily Black population. And we know that's because they think there's higher crime, there's higher instances of theft and that kind of thing. And I want to be clear, there's crime and theft in all areas of the world. If there's not an area on this planet that doesn't have some degree of crime and theft. And your ability to decipher through that information is going to be important to how open you are to go to things that are outside of where everybody else might be going. The information I got about Cali from others did raise my antennas, but you know what? My antennas are raised whenever I travel. You should always keep your head on the swivel. Like it's no different when y'all at home. So
Yeah, exactly.
I encourage people who are the diaspora to kind of think outside the box. What do they say about going to this part of Atlanta? Do you be scared over there? Like, do you be scared of this part where you live at? No, I'm cool because it's my people. It's the same thing. They're your people. They just speak a different language.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes. But we didn't come here to talk about Colombia, even though we love Colombia. What we need to talk about is this Morocco trip coming up. Tell everybody about it, Miss Sandra.
Um, Morocco, actually, I have to take it down because I already sold out. But
Woo! Let's give it up for the
Yeah, that's
sold out. Oh
sold
yes.
out.
Let's
Um,
let's don't go. Let's don't glaze over that. Now we got to give a.
so
Oh yes,
thank you.
yes.
Morocco, Marrakesh is always, the place that I like to hang out at in. But this time we're gonna start off in Casablanca. We're gonna make our way to Rabat. We're gonna do a multi-city. So God give us a strength.
wow.
But we're gonna do a multi-city. Start off in Casablanca. We're gonna make our way to Rabat. Then we're gonna make our way to Fez. That's where we'll, stay overnight. The Fez has, beautiful Medina there, the souk shopping, things of that nature. And then we're also gonna go to the Blue City, Chef Chawen. I haven't been to the Blue City personally, so I'm excited to, do that piece, that portion of it. So super excited. From Chef Chawen, then we're gonna end up in Marrakesh and just do our R&R chill thing. One thing that I've been looking to do because a partner, a friend of mine, is doing it and he's made some connections. Is the next trip is take the people to the Sahara Desert so that way they can meet black. How should I put this? Black Arabs, black Arabs, black sub-Saharan Arabs, because Arabic people, because we know that with Morocco, a lot of people don't consider themselves African. They're like, I'm Moroccan, this and that. But in the Sahara Desert, you have black melanated people. As a matter of fact, in that post, that was in the Middle East, that was in Oman. I was dumbfounded. If you scroll through that picture, Adrian, through that post, I took a picture. I have the video as well. I haven't posted it. I like to hoard my content. I don't know why. But there's these individuals were singing, were that. Look at their Omani people, but they're darker than me. Beautiful, beautiful individuals. And the music beats, I felt like I was in Puerto Rico. Because the music beats, the drums, I'm like, we're all connected to the motherland. We're all connected to the motherland, one way or the other. So that was one little thing that I didn't expect in Oman. But here we are. But I forgot what I was saying. Oh, Morocco. Yeah, Morocco's gonna be fun. This is like the fourth trip that I personally have done to Morocco. We've done, pretty much every city. But yeah, this is the first time that we're doing Chef Chawen, so I'm really excited about that.
So when you're doing this curated trip, and for those who might be interested in your future Moroccan trip, how do you go from city to city? What's the mode of transportation that you'll be doing for a curated trip for Morocco?
I have a what do you call it? A cruiser type bus, that we go throughout different cities. Everything's already taken care of. We go from one city to the next. We have accommodations. When you're doing Casablanca, Rabat, Fez, those are long drives. But trust me, we ride in style. We ride in style, honey.
Of course.
Yeah.
I believe it. What is your capacity for your group trips? Do you make that on individual basis or you have a set capacity?
It depends because I know how many, depends on the room blocks that are available, right? I open it up. I have my single accommodations and then I have my double occupancy. Well, if I sell more than the other, then the number differs. So I just take it on a case by case basis. But overall, my trips are very intimate. I don't do 50, 100 people trips. I don't do that. My trips are no more than 20, 25 people top. And lately they've been around 15 people, and that's my sweet spot. I like it just like that.
Mm, nice,
What
nice.
do you do? Do you use a combination of accommodations for those who that's a huge selling point for them is what type of accommodations you stay in on these trips?
That's never been an issue.
Hotels, Airbnbs, hostels.
I don't do hostels at all. I don't do Airbnbs for the exception of Cuba.
Right.
Yeah,
So that's what you have to do.
you have to do that. Although I did see somebody having a curated trip to Cuba and they're using a hotel.
Yeah. And it could be, I don't know what hotel. I mean,
There's Hotel National, which is the one you ain't supposed to stay in.
oh yeah.
I actually debunked that myth Saturday with Calvin.
You did?
You can stay in a Cuban hotel. It's not against Cuban law. It's against American
You
law.
exactly.
Right. But when they check your passport and your accommodations, when you check in, you have to tell them where you're staying. That
Yes.
Right,
information
right.
is
But you're telling a Cuban official. You're not telling an American official.
right.
But you have to tell them on that document. There's a document you fill out. You have to
It's
tell them
all-
on that document
It's
that
all Cuban. It's all Cuban paperwork. The reason why I went down that rabbit
And you
hole.
can do that if you want to, but I don't like to live in the fast lane like that. And I'm
me either.
I'm
Not
not
international.
responsible either for a group of people.
Listen,
Well,
I don't give this U.S. government any opportunities to question me about nothing. You ain't gonna ask
Cancel
me.
my global entry and my TSA pre-check. No, sir.
No,
Go ahead.
Well, you make some
yes,
good
you can,
points.
but you
But
should.
the thing is, it was like a lot of things about Cuba that we hear, and like people to this day say, "Man, I didn't know you could go to Cuba," because there's so many blurred lines with Cuba because of the people that may be listening to this conversation here. There's a lot of blurred lines that they put out there to where
That's
people are
because
not
they don't
really-
read.
Right. And so this is the same thing with the hotel thing, because I met an American couple that was staying in a Cuban hotel. And I was like, I didn't know you could stay. They was like, yeah, but there's a little bit of some other stuff they were doing.
You
too.
can do anything you want to do. Just because you do it, it doesn't mean that it's legal.
Well,
It don't mean that you should. You're not supporting the Cuban people by staying at a
Exactly.
hotel.
right, you're not. But
But when
the whole catch is when you pay for the hotel, you can't use a American credit card. So that's how it's a big
You
catch.
can use a credit card, period, in Cuba.
Yeah, you can't use an American. You can use if you got a Colombian account or
Yeah,
a Mexican account, you can
You
use.
can use an American credit card.
Yeah, you can't use an American credit card. That's what you're saying. So that's where you can really go through it. If I wanted to say I want to debunk the system and I want to go and stay, I use American credit cards and debit cards. So I wouldn't be able to fully debunk the system by myself. But they were able to because he had a Canadian credit card. He has a business up in Canada, so he was able to go through fully and still be an American staying in a Cuban hotel. So
Yeah, I'm not.
so when I went to the hotel, I asked the person, the front desk, I said, can Americans stay
Of
here?
course. Again, we're not saying they can't. What we're saying is that according to the Border Patrol and according to OFAC rules, you are going to Cuba because Cuba is not open for tourism to Americans. Are we there, to be a tourist? Yes, but I'm going to go there within the lines, dictated. I personally, I'm not trying to debunk anything because number one, to her point, I'm not supporting the Cuban people by staying in a nice fluffy hotel. And number two, I don't ever want to be in a position that if my records get audited, because when you check into Airbnb, they take your information. And I don't know what's being shared back and forth between governments. I don't know that. So, mm-mm.
Yeah, I ain't doing. For Morocco, um, I don't know anything about Moroccan hotels or accommodations, but what typically do you look for when you're booking your trips like that?
Morocco, I like to stay in riads, which is the original Moroccan homes versus a hotel, because you can. And there I am in Morocco, because you can go stay at a Marriott, but I want my people to experience something that they haven't experienced before.
Yeah,
So I like to do a riad. Um, you know, when I'm booking these places, I'm not just booking, oh, I'm going to go ahead and book this spot or whatever. I've taken the time to travel there individually and vet out the place myself. I stay there, I see what the area is like, is it comfortable, is it quiet? Here, what he's looking at, this is in the souks in the Medina area. It's very loud in the Medina, but there's beautiful, riads. Well, I don't want to stay there because it's loud. There's motorcycles running, through the Medina area. I want to be able to have my people stay at a nice, riad with the opportunity to rest and relax. So I usually vet out. I do a recon, personally before I book a trip. I don't book a trip. I don't open a trip, I should say, unless I've been there myself.
I've heard about curated trips where they have so much on the itinerary that you don't really have free time. How do you balance out, having been there before, since you've done some research? How do you balance out your itinerary to allow for those who maybe this is their first time traveling to the continent of
Mhm.
Africa and Morocco is their first location? How do you balance that out when you're curating your trips?
I mean, I'm always going to jam pack my itinerary. I'm always going to do that because I don't want anybody to say I paid X amount of dollars and we didn't do but two experiences. What I always, because,
That's
I
you.
exactly. So my thing is, hey, oh man, we had so much fun on that trip. We had a blast. But all the trips we have a blast. Um, I pack my itineraries, but in between, if we're going, for example, here we're gonna go for 9 days. We're gonna have like 2, 3 days where we're gonna be going, 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 and then in the middle, you have some rest. We ain't going nowhere. You can do whatever you want. It's your free day. Or for example, if I have an early morning activity, then the next day we're not leaving our hotel until later on in the afternoon. Until if I have an early morning, then the next day I try to make it to where people sleep in a little bit, so that way they can have some time. So I kind of do it that way. Obviously, it doesn't always work out that like that, depending on what we're gonna do. Like Cuba is on the go, go, go because we only have so much time to do what we got to do from Wednesday through Monday. So it's a go, go, go type of thing. But I always tell people the itinerary is a nice to have. You are welcome to do this, to do each and every one of these activities because that's what you paid for. Are you obligated to do it? No. If you want to sit back at the pool, at our Airbnb, by all means. If you just want to sleep in and skip it, by all means. I've only had one couple, fall back, and because they were really, really tired. But everyone's like, I'm gonna muscle through it and I'm gonna do it because when am I gonna come back?
Yeah, when I went on the curated trip, we had a lot of activities planned, but there was a day, I think it was a Friday morning, when they were going to do something. I went to the spa. I
Yeah,
spent the morning at the spa, and then another day, I think it was our last day. They went whale watching. I didn't want to go see no whales. I knew it was
exactly.
gonna be all day. I didn't want to get back and be have to get ready to go to dinner and try to pack and all that. So I spent the day just like doing whatever I wanted to do. But so I just want to make sure our listeners are aware that your itineraries are going to be packed with activities. But like she said, you have the option to say, I don't want to participate. Maybe you got sick and you just don't want to do that
You
excursion
need
or
to rest. Maybe
yeah,
you have jet lag or
yeah,
something.
yeah.
It's understandable.
Yeah. You're not forced. It's not like you're forced to do it. You've already paid for it. So if you go, you go. If you don't, you just got to be okay with not participating in that particular activity.
FOMO is a real thing. So people are like, I'll sleep on the bus. And you see people bringing their pillows. It's funny. I love it. I love, doing group trips. And I always tell people, if you act up, I promise you, I'm going to catch a picture of you during this trip, sleeping with your mouth open. And they're like, when you going to do that? And then at the end of the trip, when I'm putting the album together, they're like, when did you get that picture? I was like, baby, I got it. I got it. Act the fool, and I'm gonna post that picture. But everyone's like knocked out on the ride back, from wherever it is that we went to, because they don't want to miss nothing. And I don't blame them. I wouldn't either. I don't want to miss a thing.
Now, what about meals, food?
Yeah. So I always include, usually breakfast and lunch, because depending on the activity, we're together during the day.
Right.
Dinners. One thing that I need to do better is I'm with the people 24, well, I shouldn't say 24/7, but I'm with them all day, every day. And I'm learning that I need to give myself some grace too, because they're on vacation, I'm working. So lately for dinners is I have your reservations ready. If you want to go to this place, or if you want to do your own thing, you're welcome to do your own thing. But lately I'm starting to take like my dinner time by myself, just so I can sleep, just so I can rest, because I need to be able to, rejuvenate and be on 100, the next day. So, but 9 times out of 10, I still end up going out with the group. Because some of them are like, I'm not going nowhere unless you come, because, they're fearful or whatnot. Yeah. So I'm trying to like push them. It's okay. You got this. You got full transportation. I've already made the reservation for you. I do everything.
Nice. See, that's my biggest fear there, is like with the time, like, because even when I go, I'm going for a purpose. Usually, I'm usually not going just to go. When I'm by myself, so I need to have some balance for as getting all this content, and like I know some people that get content and they edit while they're in that place, and I'm like, nah, I can't be editing while I'm in that place. So I'll get the content and then I won't edit.
You're going there to work. That's a different thing. I said you're going there. You're doing work. That's different versus someone booking a group trip and going for the purpose. You have a YouTube channel. Your whole purpose for going there is different. So a group trip, may not be the best thing for you, because you want.
No, I was saying for how you just mentioned about you had to kind of give grace to yourself, like you're there to work too. I'm kind of giving the comparison of like you're not going just vacation, you're kind of doing something.
I'm working.
Yeah, you're just taking away from, because travel is therapy to me. It's like, it's really like, I can break up from all this crazy corporate project management stuff and just unwind. So it's just like I need that therapy every time when I go out. So, but then when I have people with me, and I may have like one person that's going to go with me, like I was saying that last live stream I did, it was one of my best friends from high school. So he's very like-minded with the same things that I like. So we're into cigars, we're into rum and all that stuff. So it's very therapeutic. It's not really work with him, and he knows how to move too. So. So I'm very cognizant of who I bring if I do bring somebody.
Yeah, that's very important.
Yeah. But I know we have a hard stop in about 2 minutes here. How can people reach out to you?
My recommended way is, follow our Instagram page, which is at Tour Amor Amor Travel, Tour Amor Travel, on Instagram, and in there's a link that says travel with us, and then that's how my email address, all of that is there, so you can go ahead and connect. As I upload new itineraries, every itinerary is it's going to be the booking link for you to view the itinerary and to actually book follow through with the trip, all is there. All that information is there.
Yes. I am putting your link here.
Do you have a pretty good mix of men and women, or you primarily have a lot of women?
It's always women in every group setting. The majority is women. I'm getting some men, but it's always going to be more women.
And they're mostly Americans.
Yes.
I think I'm gonna come next time.
I know. I think I'm looking at. I'm gonna have to look and see what you got.
I'm gonna come next.
Not the same one you coming on, obviously.
Next time.
We have a time.
Do you have your 2025 schedule up already, or you just?
Not yet. I haven't loaded it yet. But just so you know, Morocco, Cuba, and Colombia, those are on rotation. Just know that.
Okay. They happen every year.
Yeah, they happen every year. And then I happen to throw a fourth trip. This year, I switched my career. I have been in pharmaceutical sales for the past 8 years. And I switched my career from pharmaceutical sales to selling software and robotics in the pharmacy space. So because I'm new to this organization, I was like, yeah, I just left for Cuba and I'm going to Morocco. Oh, I won't be able to, do Colombia because I can't work, although I can work from home, I can't work abroad. Yeah, so that's why.
Do you break your trips up like you have one in the beginning of the year, one mid a year, one at the end? Like which?
Yeah, I try to do it that way. I try to do, at least once a quarter. I would love to do more, but again, I have a full-time career too.
Okay.
Nice. Well, we appreciate you coming on.
Thank you for having me. It's been great.
Yes. I hope you enjoyed yourself.
I did.
So you'll come back again.
We always have a great time talking about.
Yeah.
Yes. I need to pick your brain a little bit sometime in the future on this tour stuff. I say I'm not going to do it, but I may talk to you.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to see how much work.
And it's not just trips. You're working before and definitely during that trip. The billing, the invoicing, the itinerary, the working with your vendors. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, I was going to get into all of that on this, but we kind of went over. But even the marketing, like I see you do your Instagram, but do you do other stuff or whatever?
Yeah, I do a newsletter, all of that.
Okay. Cool. Well, thank you again. We appreciate you, Miss Sandra Yvonne. Check her out. Her Instagram link is in the chat. So with that,
I'm going back so I can see if I can find what's happening for 2025. You let us know when you post it.
You got it.
All righty. With that, we are going. Take care.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.